Chaps on.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Champion Michael Schumacher. And Mr. Hiroshi Yasukawa. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Now, to all my colleagues from Indianapolis and across the United States, as well as the international press, our honored guests, and of course all of you fans, welcome to this Bridgestone press conference to mark the 2005 Formula One United States Grand Prix here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm Bob Barsha from Speed Channel, and I'll be your host. What a great way to start this weekend with the pit walkabout, great weather, and a great race in store.
Welcome to the Hoosier stage, Chewie!
Michael, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We're joined also by the Director of Motorsport for the Bridgestone Corporation, Mr. Hiroshi Yasukawa, who will also be asking some questions in a moment. I'd also like to welcome the person through whom this event has been made possible, and that is Mr. Phil Pacey, Executive Director of North American Consumer Tire Brand Marketing for Bridgestone Firestone North American Tire. Phil, thank you very much. We'll be hearing from Mr. Pacey a little bit later on. Now, once by Ferrari and Bridgestone at last weekend's Canadian race, I'm sure the team is in an upbeat mood. You and Rubens Barrichello finished second and third. But still looking for that first victory of the year. Will this be the weekend?
I mean, if I sound or listen to the support, we should do it. I mean, there shouldn't be any question to that. But I mean, as you have seen lately, we sort of struggling a little bit. We haven't been all the way competitive so far. But as usual, I mean, we will try our best. Bridgestone is highly motivated. They're pushing very hard. Ourselves, we're pushing very hard to get the car going, get the car back to the competitiveness we had sort of in the past and last year in particular. But competition is tough. I mean, those are the guys, those are the teams, they're doing a great job, and it's difficult to beat them at the moment.
Of course, the new rules this year require that the engines last for 2 races and you use 1 set of Bridgestone tires for the complete event. Has that changed the way you approach a race? Have you changed your driving style to accommodate the new tire rule this year?
It certainly has changed big time. We sort of all winter long had to work not anymore just for like a 20-lap stint. We had to work for the whole 300-kilometer race distance and even more. We have to do qualifying. At the winter time it was 2 qualifying sessions, now it's only 1. So it was quite a big demand for testing and development because we didn't want to really take away any performance, give it away. We wanted to keep the performance. I think we have improved massively since the beginning of the season, and it's an area where Bridgestone is working very hard with a lot of progress every time, and there is a lot to come.
Mr. Yasukawa, the same question to you. With the new tire regulation this year, how has that changed Bridgestone's product based on the fact that it must last all the way through qualifying and the race?
Oh yes, this new regulation is a very strong impact for us because last year when you are watching the racing, this case you can see tire change during the race, maybe once or twice or 3 times. But this year you cannot see tire change. Then, which means we have to produce around now, Michael.
We start most of the races quite a bit further back, except the Canadian Grand Prix, though we were on a different strategy than most other people. It's just a different challenge, and I have to say, as long as we are as competitive as we are, and we have shown in several races, like in Imola, like in Monte Carlo, we did the fastest lap, and I mean, we have the speed. We are there in terms of speed. We just don't get it there all the time, and in particular in qualifying we sort of struggle to get the car at the right spot of the grid to then have a good race. So most of the time we have to compromise the race a little bit for that 1 lap issue in qualifying, which then sort of brings us into this circle where it's difficult to get out of. Anyway, I mean, the most important thing is to know that it's Formula One. it's a very high level of competition. You have great drivers, you have great teams. Everybody has the same target, that everybody wants to win. And I mean, we have been winning for the last sort of 5-6 years. And at some stage, you have to accept that somebody else can do maybe a better job. But it's our motivation and challenge to again show we can come back. And I'm so confident in that. I have no doubt about that. It just may take a little bit longer.
Well said. Excuse me. Mr. Yasukawa, it's been widely this year. Bridgestone has a great record of success. What do you look forward to in the race, given all the variables of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Winning!
Exactly. No, I mean, there's only one target for us. We definitely want to win. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And we have made, again, further improvements to the car, to the tires, and as you said, a new tarmac. So we have to see how that sort of moves the situation, whether it's going to bring the ball into our hand or it gives it away a little bit further. It's, you know, it's such a fine line. You can tip over one or the other way very easily.
All right, with that, we'd like to open the questioning to our media present. We have a microphone, I believe, at each side of the stage. Mr. Bencourt is here. His assistant is here. Please wait for the microphone, and if you'd tell us who you are and who you represent, please.
Okay, Carlos Jalife from Record, Mexico. And I'd like to ask you, some people have been complaining about the season being too long. Ron Dennis, the other, said that he wants to go back to 16 races. So, how do you feel about that? Do you think it's really too long? Bernie Ecclestone is saying 20 races. What's your opinion on that? And would you like to race in Mexico since they're building a new track in Cancun?
I mean, if Ron doesn't want to race 19 races, he's more than welcome not to race.
I wanted to know, was that crowd reaction more because Mr. Dennis's comment or the idea of running fewer races? Which...
No,
fewer races!
No, I mean, honestly, our season is anyway as long as it would be with 16 or 19 races or 20 races, because we start like beginning of January and it goes all the way till sort of mid-December, when the regulation sort of tells you not to test anymore. So whether we do a lot of testing or racing, what is easier to prefer? I mean, I prefer to race than to test. I mean, that's very clear.
I think the folks do as well. Another question? Oh, the second part of the question about a race in Mexico at a new track in Cancun.
Well, I mean, I have been in Mexico City, when was it, early 90s. I have been down there with sports car and Formula One, and we had a great time there. I mean, the circuit was a big challenge. I'm pretty sure we have a lot of support down in Mexico, as we always had. So, I mean, I think we all will be quite happy to return.
Question? Oh, you guys are letting me down. Sir. Down here.
Hi, Michael Raymats, Daily Mail, London. Your brother Ralph has been speaking, giving interviews in Germany, suggesting that you may be thinking of retiring at the end of this season. We know that's not a new issue that he's asked many times, but could you just confirm to us and the guys out there what your plans are?
Very easy. Keep on racing as well. Honestly, as long as I'm competitive and you're happy to see me, I'll keep on.
Another question? The gentleman from Mexico?
Okay, going on that question, there's also been rumors in the press saying that you might try to go for 10 World Championships, that you might not retire at the end of 2006 when your contract runs. What's the situation there?
I mean, one thing you have to know is that rumors, that's what the press lives from.
And that's why we have you here.
Yeah, exactly. There is no such target for me. I just want to enjoy as long as I can enjoy, and I only enjoy if I'm competitive. I feel competitive still, and as long as this is the case, I keep on, and whatever comes, it will come. I mean, honestly, the main target has arrived in 2000. When the first championship had been achieved together with Ferrari, that was the main thing, and it was so outstanding for all of us to achieve this goal. That ever since anything had arrived after that, it was just a present, and it was just great. But I'm not targeting anything in particular except running, enjoying, and getting such support as I'm getting here today.
Okay, a few years into the future, do you see yourself as keeping in the racing scene, maybe having a team, maybe being a team director like Niki Lauda, doing something like that? Or are you going to go home and just come to the Monaco Grand Prix from every year or something?
I mean, one thing is for sure, a team director, the only team director you should talk about is Jean Todt. He is working really an incredible amount. He never lacks motivation, and he is the big pusher in the background at all time. And especially in these days, I mean, he's just giving it 100%, more than 100%, where you sometimes think it's not possible. And honestly, I have a very good life as a race driver, and I wouldn't want to swap with him at any time.
Can you tell me why Jean Todt was wearing that heavy sweater in the pit lane in Canada where it was 100 degrees Fahrenheit out?
I mean, Canada was hot, but you should have been in Bahrain. It was 40-something degrees, and he was wearing exactly the same sweater. He likes that. I mean, he doesn't sweat. He feels good with that. Yeah. So.
A question before we open it up to the public?
What's your favorite track?
We'll get to that. Okay, my colleague Bob Jenkins is out in the crowd there with some questions, I believe. Where are you, Bob? There you are. Bob Jenkins. We need to get Bob's microphone open, please. Ben? Or someone? Oh, here we go.
There we go. We have been circulating through the crowd this morning, getting questions from various people, and we have selected some to ask Michael. And Susan from Indianapolis, is that right here? Is that you? Okay. First question I want to ask you, because I think it's an important question. Susan from Indianapolis here wants to know, do you have any pets? Besides Ruben, maybe.
Animals.
What's
I didn't say that. Animals. Pets.
Cats,
perhaps?
Cats? Okay.
Well, no, we have dogs. They don't go very well with cats, our dogs at least.
What kind of dogs?
Malinois. I don't know if that means it. It's like a German Shepherd dog, but it's a different breed, but in that direction. We have 3 of them, so it's
That'll keep you busy.
No space for cats.
And your wife Corinna enjoys horses, I believe.
Yeah, she rides. She loves horses, Western horses. That's her big passion.
Bob's mic.
As a matter of fact, another question from Harvey Schmidt from Crittenton, Kentucky. Where are you? Okay. Do you get involved with your wife's equine interests? If not, what are your interests away from the racetrack?
We've been, just before we came to the Canadian Grand Prix, as this was a 2 weeks break roughly after Nürburgring to Canada, we've been in Montana at a ranch, and we enjoyed very much the nature, riding horses, and just being around with the kids and her. So I do really appreciate very much her sort of main interest with horses. I love the horses too. The kids, they love the horses. So after racing, that's quite an important subject and time we're spending with.
If I could interrupt, I understand you're also a music buff. You enjoy music?
Yeah, I mean, I like music, but there's no particular, honestly, pretty mixed.
Mm-hmm. Bob?
All right. Where is Lyle Temple? From Chicago with Ireland in parenthesis, right over here. All right. This is a good question. What athlete among all sports around the world do you most admire? What particular athlete in any sport do you most admire?
Zidane.
I have to say, I mean, I'm a soccer fan, yes, but soccer is one thing. But honestly, if you see what the bicyclists are doing, and in particular, if you see what Lance is doing, that's something very, very outstanding for me. For myself, I'm doing quite a lot of physical preparation, and I sort of think I know what it takes, what they're doing, and that's sort of unbelievable what effort, motivation, dedication they have to do that.
All right, Lisa Temple from Chicago, right over here. She would like to know, how do you feel about the newest qualifying format? Would you like qualifying to go back to the old format where everyone is on the track at once?
Well, I have to say I did enjoy that in the past, yes, no doubt, because it was a sort of thrill in the end of the last 5 minutes of the session to get out and wonder whether you get in that lap or not. The way the rules are, it is simply the only choice how we could deal with the situation. On the other side, I've experienced that with all the changes we have been doing in the last years, you never will keep everybody happy. Somebody always will find a reason to complain. So, to me, we should have stuck where we are and should have accepted that some people are not happy, because anyway, some people now are not happy.
All right.
Is that his real name? Oh, her real name. I guess it is. My bad.
Her question is, what's the most athletically challenging course on the Formula One circuit?
Malaysia is very, very tough for us, and Monte Carlo in a way. In different challenge. Malaysia, it's very hot, very humid, a lot of G-force, so our neck and body gets really thrown around big time with all this heat. And then Monte Carlo is very, very demanding on the concentration side and on the physical side. So those two circuits, they're quite tough for us.
All right. Tom Schilder from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Tom wants to know, and you've sort of answered this, but it'll give the fans here an opportunity to cheer again. So, it appears that the car and tires weren't working well together early in the year, but after a 2-3 finish in Montreal, do you feel like the tire program is back on track? And do you feel you can realistically challenge for the championship this year?
Put it this way, I mean, as long, and that's what I keep saying, as long mathematically we are in the position of fighting the championship, we will keep on fighting, no doubt about that.
I have only one more, so if anybody in the media has thought of something.
Well, I have a question I'd like to ask Michael. You mentioned that you and your family come here to the United States. What is it about America that appeals to you as a place to visit and vacation?
I mean, first of all, you have great spots country-wise. I mean, we just came from a tour with the bikes through from Asheville up to Indianapolis, and we stayed in this sort of it's called Parkway Road.
The Blue Ridge Parkway?
Blue Ridge Parkway in this area. We spent about 1.5 days there. Then we went Dealers Point. We did this one, and that was just awesome. I mean, you have so many beautiful places to experience, and having the chance to come here to race, I obviously want to take the opportunity and see the country.
You did that on a motorcycle up the Blue Ridge?
Yeah.
What is it about motorcycling that appeals to you so much? I know you were here on a bike last year as well.
Yeah, I mean, I love biking, particular. You just feel so free. I mean, you get the air. You feel like in the open sky. It's like diving in a way. It's on the opposite side. You're in the water. You glide, and you feel a bit like flying.
And you ride a Harley? Is that correct?
Yes.
I knew we'd get that reaction. That's why I asked that.
Yes, at all time. Question was whether I would wear a helmet.
I have a question for Mr. Yasukawa, sir. On a personal note, your generous contribution to tsunami relief is well known, a $10 million donation. But you and your wife, Corinna, have long been philanthropic, particularly with regard to the United Nations children's charities and so forth. What's your philosophy about making those sorts of donations?
It has sort of triggered when I think it was 89, I won 2 races in Formula 3, and there was a very heavy prize money. It was at the time £20,000, and it was to win both races in Macau and Fuji, which they put this prize money out because they didn't expect anyone would win both races anyway. So it did happen by a lot of luck to me, and it happened that I knew at some stage in the race I would win this money, and when I knew I was going to win that money, I thought, what am I going to do with that? And the immediate thought was I want to help somebody with, and especially in the family at that time, I had somebody I could help big time with, and I did so. And ever since, I have this opportunity to be known, famous, and raise through some charity auction a lot of money, and I earn a lot of money. So I'm feeling like to do something for other people as well. That's the main motivation.
I'm not sure how many of the fans out there know the story of the amulet you wear around your neck. Could you tell us that story? Well, where it came from and what it means to you?
I'm not wearing it right now, but I always wear it when I race or qualify, but not to wear it out. But the matter of fact is that my wife, she made this amulet. It's a special design of her, and it has all the initials of her, the kids, and it has sort of some symbolic on it, which I believe in. So that's what it's about. It's not very much, just give me a lot of luck.
Bob, you said you had another question?
We have one more question. Okay. This is from Nicole Schreiner, I believe, from De Pere, Wisconsin. Right there. And Michael, she asks, would you like to go karting with us tonight?
I mean, karting is still a big passion for me. I still love that big time, and as much time as I have, I do that. Tonight probably I'm rather busy, unfortunately. But no doubt, I mean, you're doing something I would rather come around to if I wouldn't be busy.
I was going to suggest a dirt sprint car out at Eldora, but... Mr. Yasukawa, would you tell us a little bit about the interrelationship between Bridgestone's racing programs and its...
Mr. Yasukawa, it's known that the more data you have, the better off you are when you go to a race. Having so few teams working with Bridgestone tires and not having as much data perhaps as the other brand, do you feel that that's more of a challenge for both of you?
Give me the Reader's Digest version of that one.
Yeah.
I think it's the question again about having multiple teams, having only 3 teams as opposed to the 7 on the other brand of tire.
I think, because we have a very good relationship between Ferrari and ourselves, then, but if, we concerned about for the futures, maybe we have to concerned about the balance. But at this moment, we have a very good relationship, and if some team asked us, we are very welcome and we are discuss.
From the floor? Michael, are you looking forward to the new V8 formula coming? Yeah, they said that about the V10 too.
Well, put it this way. We're sort of trying to slow down Formula One to make it, to keep it within, yeah, hang on guys, to sort of keep the safety situation at a limit, because we kept on improving speeds, which we like, yes, no doubt, and you like, but on the other side, circuits are built for a certain safety and a certain speed. So we kept just tipping over that edge, and that's why we have had the changes you have seen from last year to this year. That was all the background of it. But we are not very successful within all these changes they have been doing, because you have probably 5 or 10 people thinking about changing the rules, making the car slower, but you have hundreds of engineers to think the opposite, and it's pretty easy to know who wins. So with this V8 engine, I think we're going to finally achieve quite a big step, because to lose that much power and to gain that one back, that's very difficult. So in my view, the relation between grip, aerodynamic, and engine horsepower, we sort of shifted away because we always changed tires, aerodynamics, but we never looked at the engine. And if you see at what horsepower we have arrived, although it's great, I think the ratio should be adjusted a little bit. And I'm pretty sure you won't suffer from any attraction of Formula One with a V8 or not V8.
Have you heard the GP2 cars yet? It's actually not a bad sound. We're going to have that series on Speed Channel a little bit later this year when Formula One returns to Europe. So keep an eye out for it. I think you'll like what you hear. Michael, have you ever thought about something you'd like to do perhaps after Formula One? Anything else in motorsport that you'd like to accomplish? Le Mans, Top Fuel Dragster, any?
Well, I'm not feeling that old yet, honestly. But the matter of fact is, Formula One is the ultimate. There's nothing better. So I don't see any reason to feel challenged from any other thing. And as I said, I'm still feeling pretty young inside. So I don't have no intention to do something different.
Well, at this point, I think we're going to have to bring the question and answer to an end. And at this point, I'd like to invite Mr. Phil Pacey to the stage.
Shows proximity, right?